Hey, Andrew.
Yes, Steven?
You know how we romanticize the days of going out to our local video store and sifting through endless amounts of movies, searching for our favorite films, and maybe even finding some hidden gems?
Oh yes, I know it all too well. That used to be my favorite thing to do. Unfortunately, everything is online now.
Well, what if I told you that there was a place online where you could get some of them same thrills as going to the video store?
Are you talking about OrbitDVD?
I knew you knew what I was talking about. OrbitDVD is located in Asheville, North Carolina, and online with OrbitDVD.com, they bring you everything your physical media heart desires.
Yeah, they have an awesome website that stays up to date with the latest releases from all of your favorite boutique labels as well as studio releases. Not only do they carry American labels such as Criterion Collection, Severin Films, Vinegar Syndrome, and Warner Archive, but they get routine shipments on imports from companies such as 88 Films, Arrow Video, Imprint, and so much more.
And with the option to sell or trade your used copies for cash or store credit, they really bring that video store vibe to you. So go to OrbitDVD.com and stock up on your Blu-rays.
And tell them Chasing Labels sent you.
Welcome to another episode of Chasing Labels. I'm your host, Stephen Billings, and as always, is with me is your other host, Andrew Cabral. How you doing, man?
Doing good, Stephen. I know I say this every week, and I'm going to say this again for all our listeners at home.
Get ready for it.
These weeks go by fast, man. I felt like I was sitting here like 2 days ago, and now I'm back here once again, like deja vu.
Isn't that where you watch your movies?
It is.
Yeah, so maybe you were there maybe 2 minutes ago watching a movie.
I probably was.
Yeah, probably.
I probably was. But it feels like I was in this position talking to you on screen and all that kind of stuff. And then like the week goes by and then I'm back here once again. I don't know, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, but moving forward as opposed to moving back.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to kill yourself yet talking to me?
No, I haven't reached that point in in the narrative yet where
Good.
Just to test it out, I guess.
Okay, well, good.
Let me do some wild things to just see if I can get away with it. No consequences.
Yeah, that's my job. I'm supposed to do the crazy stuff.
Nice. But we're back here once again for spine number 65 here on Chasing Labels. And Stephen, once again, we're joined by a returning guest. And you do the intro to the guests way better than I do. So
sometimes I mess them up. Sometimes I'm like, my mind's like fluttered, and I'm like, who is this person? What's your name? No, exactly. But we've had him before. He's actually partnered up with us. He is the man that is behind OrbitDVD, and that is Marc McCloud. Yes. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I myself am confused. I woke up from a nap and I thought I was on an 8-track podcast, so I brought my Judas Priest and my Bang 8 tracks I just got this week. But
well, dude,
here I am. Here I'm in a movie podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry you prepared for the wrong thing.
I know.
Although,
so I'll be scrambling this whole time.
Yeah.
Although, if you want to talk Judas Priest, I guess we wouldn't be opposed to it.
That's right.
Yeah, Judas Priest just showed up in movies, hadn't he? He showed up in movies.
Yeah, and one of the coincidentally, one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner label releases was very heavily Judas Priest influenced.
Yeah,
and we got to talk a little bit about Judas Priest during that episode, and I think Steve and I both have a mutual love for Judas Priest.
Course.
I know.
Well, I listened to him a little bit. I'm not as huge fan. Unfortunately, with all the movie watching I do, my music listening is like it's fallen off so much since I was in my 20s. Like I'm full-on movie guy now.
I get you. Yeah. I mean, I've reached the point where I think I'm listening to the same music I listened to 20, 30 years ago. I mean,
yeah, Mark, are you staying current?
But believe it or not, I am. Yeah, there was a club that opened across the street from my house called the Mothlight, and I got to be really good friends with the owners, and they would just let me in there. So I was the old fart at the end of the bar, looking creepy and stuff. While it's a bunch of like really young touring like indie bands, a lot of really good metal. I actually saw some great world music, but like they turned me on to literally hundreds of bands. And I was a little current before that anyway. I do stay up to it. I actually was going to open a record store at some point, but the problem I was going to have was the same that you're just talking about, is the fact that like every time I go to a record store, most times, unless there's some new blood in there working or doing the ordering, it's like their knowledge of music stops when they're in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
Or college or whatever. So like you can exactly say, okay, Meat Puppets was the last thing this guy listened to that was awesome. or Zappa or, or just, or new metal or whatever, So it's like, I'm glad I didn't open a record store, but, movies like you guys are saying, I think force you to stay current, it's like you have to watch it. It's like you want to watch the new ones. It's like give me something new, give me something exciting, give me something I love, and like that. That's just I think both of y'all are right. It's like those types of media are different.
Yeah.
Where I feel like that you have to seek out music in a certain way.
Yeah, music's not music.
Be invested in it. It's like whereas movies, most people are just casual movie fans. They just like watching a movie.
Yeah.
So it's like
well, most of the ways that we get movie inundated with us is the new stuff. They're not inundating us with old stuff. Right. Music, they're typically, it's being that it's a listening experience. They actually can get you through movies too. So they'll throw new music in movies all the time and be like, oh shit, I heard that on the radio, or because people ain't listening to the radio like they used to. I don't listen to the radio.
No, it's mostly like streaming on
their
Spotify, Apple Music.
It's so segmented now that I think just a general, like pop culture acceptance of music is gone. It's like everybody's in their own lane and they're really honed in. And the streaming is interesting because I think it helps bands. Like I was at this club, the Mothlight, and there's a band I like a lot called the Woods. They actually were able to pull up their Spotify playlist or like whatever people liked of their songs, and they weren't doing it exactly, but he was showing me. It's like, well, yeah, we could see, and we kind of know because people shout it out at shows and stuff. But like, it's like we can see what people like, So it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. But it's like we're here to talk movies and not 8-tracks.
Yeah, so. It's okay.
I'm switching
I
gears
will say real quick, you do have one of the great venues out there, the Orange Peel. I love the Orange Peel.
Yeah. We're actually, if I could do one shameless plug, we are teaming up with the Orange Peel with Guar. So like you need to like both the Orange Peel's Instagram page and mine, OrbitDVD, and then you tag a friend, and then you will get on stage, and actually Guar will kill you on stage. So the winner of this contest will get killed by Guar. So cool. I think it's the best contest of all time. We're actually offering up a sacrifice for probably one of the greatest bands of all time. So
nice
sacrifice for music.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of partnerships, our partnership, we've been doing it for a few months now, and I hope that it's been mutually beneficial. It's not really we don't really know yet, but one of these things that we're going to be doing soon is going to maybe help figure that out. So at least on your end. So tell us about we're going to be doing a nice deal soon for that's going to involve chasing labels and OrbitDVD.
Yeah. So basically, like I get asked all the time, it's like, coupons. Like, well, we have one now, and we're kind of waiting for basically some work that we got to do in the store to get some. Y'all don't need to know about that. But anyway, starting probably the middle of next week, we're going to offer a exclusive coupon from you guys to get 15% off the Orbit website. Now then, we've been kind of waiting for this to be able to figure out some logistics. One of the logistics is a lot of people like our free shipping. That's also a coupon. Up until this point, it was kind of wonky to be able to do 2 coupons at once. Well, we believe we got that figured out. So beginning next week, you'll be able to get 15% off as well as free shipping. And that's media mail. It's not going to be, we're not going to send it to you overnight, FedEx or anything, free shipping. But but media mail, you got to trust the post office guys.
I'll take the postal service over Amazon right now. Yeah.
Hey, I defend the post office to death. They really are a one. They run better than they should be. With all the crap going on with them. But like, it's amazing the stuff gets to you. at all, So I'll
really does.
Anyway, this is a one-time coupon. Now some of y'all, we see this using multiple accounts, trying to get as many coupon redemptions as possible. No. We'll nip that in the bud. But you'll be get 15% off as well as free shipping if you choose that. Some people don't, but that will be, let's say that starts on Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, the what day is next Wednesday?
Oh boy,
it's a week from Wednesday actually.
So not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after.
That is correct.
I think it's the 14th maybe or something.
We're talking about the 14th.
Yeah, we're looking at the 14th. Yeah, 14th. So 14th, we're good to go.
Cool.
And
so we know that if you go to OrbitDVD and you shop, you know that they have, if you buy 3 movies or books, you get free shipping. So you can buy three things and then you get that free shipping. But on top of that, you can get another discount with that 15% off. So save a little bit more money to get some pick up some things online. So it's yeah.
And I would say, I wouldn't be wary if anyone's wary about media mail. I mean, of course, Postal Service is what it is, but I could say to OrbitDVD's credit, they will ship out very, very quickly.
You guys ship out, so it's amazing.
Like next day, sometimes even beforehand. So it's very fast.
We're kind of shifting things around now where people actually are getting same day shipping, and I don't want to say that's a consistent thing, but just the way that the planets align and there's enough people working that do the shipping during the day. And then also if the post guy shows up later, if you order something when a major title drops, like say, for example, Dog Soldiers 4K from Second Sight, we got that around 1:00 in the afternoon. They came by around 5 or 6. Everybody's orders went out that day. So, and media mail actually works remarkably well, especially if you're on the East Coast. I think East Coast and Midwest, you can probably get a media mail package in a couple of days from us, because we're right smack dab in the middle of the East Coast, and it's really easy. People get stuff in Jersey and New York from us all the time, in 2 days.
Yeah,
it's
very quick. I'm a little further north than New York or New Jersey, and it probably takes 4-5 days. It's not a lot at all. Yeah. It's kind of like the way the old system was, where you had to wait 5 to 7 business days or whatever the old kind of shipping method was. And it works perfectly fine. And like I said, it's because I know that you guys typically, you get orders in later in the day, like you were saying, shipments of new products and all that stuff. So if people can see that right away, keep looking at the social media posts, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or OrbitDVD, you'll see pretty much as soon as you guys get them, you guys post them. So everyone keep your eyes on that.
It's a system that's worked well for us so far, and I think some people like the randomness of this all. Because we, it's we get a bunch of crap in, we put it on, post a picture, and then the crap sells, and we get another bunch of crap in. Sometimes it's 5 times a day.
Yeah,
it's bam, 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 bam. So, a lot of people like that, but we do want consistency. So I think we might be doing some slight changes. It's not going to affect you guys at all, but at least keeps our sanity going. To maybe, so I do feel bad because we do have a lot of West Coast customers, and sometimes I think they might miss out a little bit. So we'll see. But anyway, what's happening with us is we're gonna be doing pre-orders pretty soon. A lot of requests for pre-orders. And then we're gonna have the ability for people to edit their carts better than they have been, and just there's gonna be all sorts of cool stuff happening that really will make the Orbit shopping experience better. For people out there.
Wow.
So,
you sound like you really care about your customers.
Yeah.
They do keep the machine.
He's got to keep.
I don't have to flip burgers. Yeah.
He's got to keep selling that crap in his store, as he calls it. Yeah. But
my wife, she's okay. I'm getting made fun of right now. Actually, she always loves it when I call it crap, because a lot of these movies are crap. It's well, why are we buying this? And it's I have no idea.
To us, it's like precious gold.
Yeah, I got precious gold all around me right now. So does Andrew.
Yeah. And the scary thing is, probably the not crap is Vinegar Syndrome this month. So it's how do they end up not being not crap this month?
I just got my shipment in. Oh yes. Look at it.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know you ordered all that.
Yeah, sometimes I forget I order stuff too.
Yeah. But pre-orders is something brand new, I think, to the site and to you guys in general. I know it's been a lot of things that other companies, and people have instrumented, and it's a whole big, probably to do, like structurally.
Right, yeah, and a company like we have a huge respect for Diabolic, and that's their business. I mean, that's basically their whole business is on pre-orders, and congrats to them for that. I mean, they've got that market locked down pretty tight. But we're going to start off with just some big titles. Say, for example, if they announce the Studio Canal Near Dark limited edition 4K, that will be a pre-order.
Yeah, I was going to say just select titles. Probably
it'll be like the big box sets. This is the limited stuff. Like the Titans Occult thing coming out by Warner Brothers in the UK. That will be a pre-order if the time allows. We want to maybe try to be about 3 months ahead of this, but we'll see. It's gonna be a learning process for us. The reason why we ship so fast is we don't have any space. We don't have any room. We're not a warehouse. We're a store. So. It's like, okay, where we're going to put this stuff, so we just got to find out what's going to happen there. So,
I was going to say,
but anyway,
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
We're very excited.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a need that a lot of people have been asking about since we started doing this basically. And we're going to be able to help them out at least somewhat.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to hit pre-order for everything.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that they're afraid is going to go out of print immediately, like an 88 films limited edition or something like that. That they will be able to pre-order.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say, when it comes to the pre-order process, do you get pre-orders in, and then do you have to based off of the pre-orders make an order to the companies after that?
Yeah. I think that's basically how. And this is basically since I've been ordering movies even for the rental business when I had the rental store part going, is there's a pre-order cutoff date. So my guess is like you basically will allow pre-orders up until that date, and then that's you're pretty much guaranteed copies if you order by that time. Now the imported movies it's a little different how that business model works. So for a while we were a little bit nervous about offering for example a Near Dark or a Hitcher or whatever's coming out. Is the fact that are we even going to get these copies in?
Yeah.
So we now we're pretty confident that we will. So I mean that's basically how the model works. Like you pre-order and then you place the order for that. Then you order on top of that to think, okay, half the customer base didn't want to do pre-orders. We got to get more copies in, and just take it upon that. So,
well, do you think that and this is no knock on Diabolic because I like them too, but I do notice that because I mean even though we do have a partnership and I like ordering through Orbit anyway, I do notice that you guys seem to get a lot of these releases a little earlier, and then you get them out faster. And do you think pre-orders will affect when you actually can get? Because like for instance, there's stuff I've pre-ordered from Diabolic that I still hadn't gotten shipped. And you have it in your store already, ready to go. And I'm like, I could have ordered it from you, and it came to me 2 days from there, and then I'm still waiting on Diabolic's pre-order ship. Will that affect shipping times?
I don't think so. I think basically, what will happen is we'll send an email out, and we haven't even finalized this process yet. But we of course would want you maybe to add on to that order. So it's like going, hey, your copy of Near Dark is here. Is there anything else you want to add to that? And then. And then on top of that, we'll see. But as far as the street day things I've been asked about a decent amount of times. Most companies are cool with shipping stuff out a little bit early. They don't, because they do. It's like, how many times have you seen Severin shipping out their titles 6 weeks before the street date or whatever? Now we're not going to do that, but we try to keep an eye on what the other, the two other main sites, Grindhouse and Diabolic, are doing as far as shipping goes, to send the stuff out. But I think if you're a week or two early, you're fine. Street day to me was, initially street days where you were able to walk down to Best Buy on that date and pick up that movie.
Sure.
Well, that business model is long gone. Yeah. Now it's like street date is you should have that movie in your hands by that date.
Yeah,
that's a date. Mm-hmm. You should have that in your hands. Or at least having it shipped to you it should be in the mail.
That's what I get out of it. If it's not shipped by street date, then I'm a little bit perturbed. But so that's happened a few times with me with Diabolic. Is it seems like I don't know if it's just a matter of that they're so overhauled with product to get it out that they got so much business that it's putting them behind. And I know getting some of the orders in from especially overseas things is probably holding them back too.
Yeah. And in the case of like Australia, it's like what if you did if you ordered one of the the August imprint titles that were delayed till the end of September. It's like what happens there. So like Germany, it's hard to say what's going on. France, lots of delays. Australia, tons of delays. We a lot of times we don't know. But
with my situation, I've seen examples where I've had something pre-ordered and then I see you guys get it and I'm like, damn, I should have just ordered it from Order, but I already had it by now. It's like,
right.
But
it's like people want that guarantee. And that's really where Diabolic shines, is the fact that like you are going to get that movie. So it's like, and that's really where they excel.
And they're great. And like I said, they're great.
Independent company doing it.
They're great. And I'm not knocking them. It's just I'm just trying to figure out what would be the issue here, and what would maybe change on to Orbit if since you're going to start doing some pre-order, and if anything would really change.
And like I said, I don't know how Jesse does business. As far as like the fulfillment process, if it's just him, I know Mike. In a good way, is such a control freak at Grindhouse. He told me so that like he's pretty much the only guy shipping pretty much out there, which I can't do that. It's like I personally. I have to trust other people to do that. But that's me and that's him, so it's like, so it might take them a few extra days. Diabolic doesn't have a store, so it's like everything he's got a process he's been doing now for, 15 years, maybe 20 years. So it's like, he's sticking to that process and people are happy with it. So, as far as a product, I was like, I would say that like in the case of him is like, all this stuff's getting fulfilled, and you have to fulfill those tickets other people have pre-ordered, whereas I'm just getting the product in. Right now, so it's like that might,
and then it's a fight. Everybody's got to fight for it.
I know, people are just absolutely
which is actually exciting, actually.
I'm gonna.
Well, in the case like 2 weeks ago, they crashed the website for dog soldiers. It's like we haven't had a crash ever until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So. I will say this just from my own experience with what you guys are talking about in terms of fighting. I check OrbitDVD every single day, but I was checking every single day for like 2 months straight until something came in. And then once it did, I made sure to like set an alarm to get up, because I know when you guys kind of get your shipments in, so I could get it right away. And it was the imprint edition of Warriors.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I from June up until I think, oh my goodness, was it August? You guys were teasing that you guys are getting shipments in. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to finally grab it. And I just waited every single day. Make sure to snag one.
Now, one feature we do have that people use a lot is that back in stock notification. Did you sign up for that? Or?
I did. I think I did that, and I checked to kind of like cover all the bases.
Oh, I don't mind you checking at all. That's fine.
It's like the first thing I check when I wake up, like still groggy in bed, is like OrbitDVD.
Yeah.
Like, what do they got today?
The back in stock works great because like we had maybe like about 4 or 5 week gap where we didn't have the 4K of Dawn of the Dead, and we were mentioned on a pretty big YouTube channel, and he mentioned that we had it, and people just were going nuts, and we had a large amount of copies and we sold out. We treated this last restock of Dawn of the Dead like a humongous new release. So it was just fun seeing, like we probably sent out hundreds of back in stock notifications. Like it's literally the second it hits inventory, those automatically get sent out. It's not me hitting a button. It's an automatic process. So, like the system works. And hopefully we'll get a good system working for the pre-orders as well. Just got to figure that out. And that's why we kind of want to ease into this and not really make everything available. It's the fact that we said, okay, if we feel comfortable just doing these limited sets, then we'll do everything. But until then.
Yeah, now I'm assuming you guys will be announcing which, releases will be eligible for pre-order and all that kind of stuff. Because I know on the site right now, you guys kind of, like the first thing you see when you go to OrbitDVD.com is all of kind of the upcoming releases for like October and September and whatnot. And I don't know if those are going to be the ones specifically up for pre-order at some point, or if these are just like, hey, these are going to be coming soon, so keep in mind.
Yeah, it'll be ultimately how I like to do it, and I don't really. The site's has been taken away from me, basically. So other people have taken control of the site, but the easiest thing would be to do is say like a title comes up like the the Police Story trilogy. It's like it comes up. You just click that banner. It takes you right to the pre-order page. I mean that's super easy to do. And then we'll have a pre-order section as well that will be maintained and monitored and stuff like that.
Great. Well,
great.
As we said before, not this. So the 14th is probably going to be the date for the coupon to start. So we'll just keep checking back at Orbit's Instagram and Facebook. I'm sure it'll be we'll advertise it too when we get closer and whatnot. But so just wait for that treat and go buy some shit. Go buy some shit. I'm gonna use it.
Thank you, and I want to thank all of your listeners who actually have physically come in our store and told me that they listened to you.
Oh, great, man! That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Mm-hmm. I hope that one guy came back multiple times. No, I'm just kidding. No. But awesome.
That's a loyal customer right there.
It's been $350, I think.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good. But awesome, and so. Now that we've talked about some business, now let's get into some pleasure of movie talking, some Blu-ray talk.
I'm getting very distracted.
Sorry. Somebody's trying to mess you up. But so as usual, we're going to talk about Blu-ray announcements from the past week. Not too crowded this week like the previous 2 weeks.
Yeah, first week of not even the first full week of September. It's like the end of August and then the first little bit of September we've got into right now.
Labor Day weekend is a little down.
Yeah.
But
so basically, I noticed this early on in the rental businesses. Like these companies don't like holidays.
No, they don't.
They really avoid. Christmas is the worst. Well, actually, 4th of July for the U.S. used to be the worst. Like there was zero. There's always like maybe some big Hollywood film out the week of Christmas on home video, but like 4th of July, it's dead to them. In addition to that, in addition to Labor Day on Monday. There's a bank holiday in the UK Monday as well, so that might have affected some releases overseas, as well as U.S. releases for the end of August and 1st of September.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad you know your UK holidays.
I know because I'm on the phone. Like, why are they picking up the phone?
It's a bank holiday.
They're cheering the Queen on again.
She's celebrating another birthday. Come on.
Well, but
the Germans are worse, man. Our German guy, he's on vacation like at least 11 months out of the year. Like,
dude, see, I hear in other countries they value vacation way more.
It's a very different, more laid back culture there.
Yeah.
They're not working.
Canadian buddies, I don't think there's any vacations. They're just chill.
Yeah, just hanging out, just relaxing.
But. We got a few things to talk about today. Primarily, the Vinegar Syndrome stuff did drop. We'll leave that for the end. But we got a few other tidbits. Where do you want to start, Andrew?
Let's start with our old friends Warner Archive, still chugging along. I'm kind of just starting out with them because they only had 2 announcements, one of which was rumored months and months ago, and that is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But this is the 1931 version or adaptation starring Frederick March, directed by Ruben Mamoulian, and this is of course based off of the famous novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is probably the most favorite adaptation of the novel. It's probably the one that everyone goes back to. It's probably one of the best in my opinion. It's the best I've seen, and this novel's been adapted so many times. It's just kind of absurd about how many times it's been adapted. But this is the one from 1931 that everybody is interested in. I know earlier this year they did the one with Spencer Tracy and Ingrid Bergman. I think that was around the same time that this one was kind of rumored to be coming out in October, appropriately, October 25th. So this is one I think is going to be a hot seller because I know everyone's buzzing about this right now.
Yeah, Marco, have you seen this? And
Oh yeah. This is definitely a classic. Although I have an affinity to the Hammer, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
Yeah.
Ralph Bates and the ravishing Martin Beswick, but Frederick Marsh is amazing in this, and this is, it's that weird creepy 30s vibe going on in that. So it's like this is definitely essential. I think essential purchase for sure.
Yeah, it's got that just incredible transition scene of Frederick March looking in the mirror, and then he transitions to the monstrous Hyde, from Dr. Jekyll, and just the makeup work and the transition for 1931, a pre-code film, just all-time classic makeup work. This is the one that people are going to be pre-ordering this one. We were just talking about pre-orders. People are pre-ordering this one. Yeah. But next is Mark of the Vampire. And this is a film directed by Todd Browning. When are we going to get a Blu-ray review, Blu-ray of Freaks?
Freaks, yeah.
We'll never know. But another Todd Browning film. And this film is interesting because it's Mark of the Vampire, and it stars Bela Lugosi as the vampire. They call him the Vampire because you can't use the name Dracula because it's not a Universal film. It's, I believe, put out by MGM back in the day. And Bela Lugosi's in it. Lionel Barrymore's in the film. Lionel Atwill, and Lionel Barrymore is essentially playing the Dr. Van Helsing character. Just not Dr. Van Helsing. It's a similar premise with an interesting twist at the end. The movie is only 60 minutes long. Came out in 1935. This is coming out on October 11th. An interesting back catalog film, but it's yet again another Bela Lugosi movie that's getting some love.
A lot of Bela.
There's been a lot of Boris Karloff lately, and not a lot of Bela Lugosi.
I know that Eureka put out some sets.
Eureka's got some good.
Yeah, they have two Boris Karloff sets.
But once again, that's in the UK and not in the US.
Yeah,
so it's
right. Very true. And I know the what was it? The Universal Horror. Oh, I have it on my shelf, and I don't remember what it is. But the first set of that is basically a Boris Karloff set. It's Universal Horror Collection, the Volume 1. I think there's like 6 of these or 7 of these now. The first one is basically, it's got the Black Cat, the Raven, the Invisible Ray, and Black Friday. All Boris Karloff films.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, with Bela Lugosi as a side character, and as the films go along in that set, Bela Lugosi's role gets smaller and smaller, and it just kind of showed the difference in dynamics of those two actors at that time, which is a whole history about that.
Fox used to have like a Karloff Lugosi set, I believe. I think it was Fox. And of course, that's lost in Disneyland now. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen to those films? But they acted more together than you think they did. So it's interesting for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's unless we want to talk about Sweet Tooth. And I was
no, the complete first season.
Yeah. No, I've seen
that's the Netflix series. I'm actually surprised to see that actually get a physical media release, just because typically the streaming stuff that's original streaming, those things struggle to get Blu-ray or DVD releases at all.
I think it's because it's based on a comic book. They're like
right, and also I'm pretty sure it was made by Warner Brothers and then sold to Netflix versus it being just a Netflix property. That's why you see like The Crown gets a Blu-ray release for every season. That's like made by Sony, I think, and then sold to Netflix.
Well, the new Munsters is coming out, I think, day and date of the Netflix premiere too, so or close to it.
And that's coming out, this month actually.
I think it's the end of this month. Yeah,
it's the end of this month. They could have waited till October. Like, come on, it seems appropriate.
It seems like they tend to drop a lot of horror in September now, just to get that extra little bit of.
Oh yeah,
that late September push, like the anticipation for Halloween season.
Because kids are going back to school. It's like we almost consider it fall now, and they're like,
it is. Yeah, even though technically it's not till September 21st. Is
I used to put all our we sell like the vintage Halloween, like at Beastal. The company has all those really cool vintage Halloween decorations you see Instagram and Pinterest and stuff like that. They never closed down. They've always been open. But like we started carrying their stuff a few years ago, very popular, and I would start in October. I'm like going, I'm an idiot. What am I doing? So I started putting it out. We have had it out now for like 2 or 3 weeks, and of course it's
already picking up.
So like people want to get in the mood, and honestly, we should celebrate Halloween for 60 days, right? I mean,
I celebrate it all year round.
Dude, I work in a Lowe's Home Improvement. That stuff's been out for a couple weeks at least already.
At least. I mean, I know there. Yeah, I mean, I would celebrate Halloween whenever you want. I mean, horror movies and that aesthetic are always there now. I mean, there's no real like proper seasons anymore.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah, we're planning a Hocus Pocus party around this place. My wife's a big Hocus Pocus fan.
Nice.
Well, they shot Hocus Pocus here. Hocus Pocus 2 was shot here in my state.
Nice.
Yeah, they shot Hocus Pocus, part of it, obviously, not all of it. Well, they shot part of it in Salem, the original one and the new one, and then they shot some of it here, in the town where where my movie theater is that I was going to frequently, like 5 minutes from it. They shot Hocus Pocus 2 here. They had all listings for if you want to be an extra and sign up for all that kind of stuff. So yeah, when that drops, people are gonna be very excited.
The closest we've gotten to movies being made right around where I live is an Owen Wilson movie with Zach Galifianakis. Is like going. I can't remember what it's like a small towny movie.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called, but then also, hey, Bar Rescue just filmed around here.
Really?
Yeah, we my wife knows I like that show. She was talking about
it's in Hickory area.
Yeah, the Hickory Bar Rescue.
Yeah, so
nice. We've got a few movies to get filmed here every once in a while. The Farley brothers, they're from here. I think actually one of them went to the same college as I did. So they filmed the stuff. Dumb and Dumber was filmed here. There's a bunch of stuff. But that's a whole thing. Even like other films are shot like further south. I know there's always a Kevin Bacon sighting in the southern part of the state, because I think he and Kara Sedgwick live in the next state over, so they come over here to go to the beaches and stuff. So they always show up on social media like at the beach. Here, it's
you don't go looking for bacon out there somewhere.
No,
you don't go looking for him.
No,
he's got to be cool. Kevin
south.
Bacon seems like he'd be cool.
Oh, I bet he would be. Speaking of someone who's in a lot of movies, is Kevin Bacon. But moving on from all this fancy actor and actress talk in movies, we've got a couple of things from Kino. Just a couple of things here. One kind of collection, not quite a box set, a collection that I'm really interested in. But before we get to that, we have a movie called Fancy Pants, starring Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. Came out in 1950, so this predates the I Love Lucy show. I know a lot of people obviously know Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy, and then its subsequent, shows afterward. But she was an actress beforehand. She was in a lot of movies beforehand, but obviously her big thing that she's known for is the I Love Lucy show. But this is a film from 1950. It's getting remastered by Paramount Pictures, so it obviously is part of that Paramount Kino deal. From 4K scans, 35mm 3-strip Technicolor, which is fascinating to me that they still have the 3-strip Technicolor, because those things usually got thrown away back in the day. But yeah, this is interesting, Steven. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
curious how it's gonna look.
I'm a huge fan of the I Love Lucy show, so I would be interested in watching this. But Bob Hope is a blind spot for me. I've never really gotten into Bob Hope. Mark, have you?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the 70s, so those specials were on like 10 times a year. He also was in this. He did have some good films. Son of Paleface, and then there was a movie called I think it's called The Ghost Breakers.
Yeah,
It influenced something else that was a huge cultural hit in the 80s.
Couldn't imagine what it would
Wonder
be.
what that is.
I have no idea. I totally forgot what that film's name was. But Lucille Ball started actually as a pinup model, World War II pinup model, and then got into the acting after that. But I've never heard of this one, and I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I've never.
I feel like classic comedies. So.
But I'm always fascinated about actors and actresses, their work before they were in their most famous work. Like, what did they do leading up to what they're known for? And Lucille Ball is obviously one of the all-time, beloved actresses. Just, the real stalwart. I don't know if anybody saw the biopic movie that they just did. It wasn't really a biopic. The Aaron Sorkin film. It was okay.
Yeah, I never got a chance. I'd heard so many kind of negative reviews. I'd put it on like the back burner of priorities.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
I feel you.
I mean, she was, and I can't remember too much about her history, but I think she was actually fairly well respected and popular. And I think the big scandal is the fact that she went to TV. You know, she was maybe already a movie star or on the way up or whatever. I can't remember the whole story, but like just the fact that she went to TV really legitimized TV, the history of TV.
Yeah, the way they shot the show and everything was all.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it's like they expect someone from her caliber to step down. You know, which they still complain about that a lot.
Well, yeah, I would even say the 1950s is such a pivotal moment for movies and TV, because TV was really brand new in the 1950s. I mean, TVs were just kind of coming out, and they were small, but they were just black and white, 2-3 channels, whatever it would be, and you needed programming, I guess. And that was kind of the birth of the modern sense of the sitcom. Was the I Love Lucy show. The Honeymooners, things like that, and it's really fascinating, kind of the birth of all this kind of stuff, and how they set so many precedents when it came to what you could do for TV and what and not do for TV. It was a fascinating touchstone of a show, and it's always something I always go back to. It's such a shame that a lot of those like 1950s shows haven't really made the jump to HD and stuff like that, because they were all shot on film, so they would all look fantastic. It's just like the market for it is a lot different these days. I know they tried with the I Love Lucy show. I think I mentioned it a few times. They put out the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray. They looked amazing, but they were selling them for like $50 a piece at the time when they came out, and people really weren't at that point paying that money, because streaming was really kicking into gear 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So you can still get them. They're still out there. And you can, of course, still get the DVDs. But that's not. This isn't a TV podcast, Stephen. You should have stopped.
I let you. You got to fill out some time in this show.
You know what? I gotta. You gotta let me indulge my.
We're almost through We're almost going to the last slate. I had to let you fill out time.
Yeah. You always let me go off on talking about TV. TV on Blu-ray and TV on DVD is a whole different podcast.
We're not going to start that podcast. Thing. I'm sorry.
We're not going to start that podcast. No. But what we are going to start talking about right now is some French noir. That's right, French noir. So Kino, of course, has been putting out their noir box sets. What are we up to now, Stephen? Like
it's like 15, 14.
Yeah, like 15.
Yeah, I just ordered 10.
Yeah,
so 10 is available now. Yeah, or it will be available in about.
Yeah, and I think they just announced like 11 through 15. Or 11 through 16,
something like that. Yeah.
And these are picking up steam in terms of I'm seeing a lot of people buying these and talking about these now. So I guess now they're going into a different direction with French Noir Collection. I don't know if this is a one-off. Don't know if there's going to be more of these. But all I can tell you is there are 3 films on 2 discs, and they're all getting 2K restoration. This is coming November 29th. So this is well into around Thanksgiving time or past that. And you're getting Speaking of Murder from 1957, Back to the Wall, 1958, and Witness in the City from 1959. And these are all French films, I think starring the likes of Jean Gabin and Jean Moreau. I haven't seen any of these, so that's why this fascinates me so much. But, the kind of French noir or even neo-noir is kind of born out of, like, French cinema. So I'm very fascinated by these. Stephen, what did you see these, and are you interested in them?
I did. I'm trying to look up the French title of I believe it's the first one.
It's Le Rouge et Me.
Yeah, I think that's the one title I watched.
I didn't even know you watched.
Yeah, I found it. I found it on YouTube. YouTube just sometimes you just find some stuff.
It surprises you.
Yeah,
it's random.
Yeah,
crazy.
But it's it very much feels like it feels like an American, film noir. It doesn't have. It's not even overly stylized. Some of the, when it comes to boutiques, Criterion seems to be kind of the leader in French noir. They've put out a lot of French noir stuff. I don't know can you think of another label that's really put out a lot of French noir? I mean,
not really. Yeah. But it's always the neo noir though. like the new French wave directors and stuff or like I guess Night and City I guess would be probably right there too. But like
like Melville stuff, like even Studio Canal put out some Melville
Samurai, films like that. Those were well into the '60s, I think, when those came out.
Yeah, when I think of neo noir, I think '60s. So this is like that late '50s.
Yeah. It looks like this is like maybe like noir had a humongous influence on the new wave directors. So it's interesting to see these come out and see the fact that they were made of the time. Now noir was kind of petering out by the end of the late 50s era a little bit, but like the fact that they're made right then is interesting. Yeah, it sounds like a very exciting box set. So I'll be checking it out for sure.
Yeah. So the one I watched was making sure because I don't want to be talking about. Speaking of murder, right? Yeah. So the first one in the set is the one I watched, and it's about this man who owns like a garage. And he uses it as a way to do like thefts and things like that. They'll do a robbery and then they'll go into the garage and switch out the license plates and then they go off and they do their normal thing, and so it's kind of a slow moving movie. It's a lot of conversations, a lot of setting up. And then by the end of the movie, there's like it's almost more like Reservoir Dogs, where somebody doesn't trust somebody, and so they're trying to figure out if they can trust this person in the group, and that's essentially the movie. And it's only an hour and a half, not very long, but decent noir. It's not usually with these sets like this, they're kind of like the lower level noirs. They're not the up front ones. So some of them are hits and some of them are hidden gems and some of them are, just okay. So I'll be interested to watch the other two because I'll get this. I mean, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on noir. I got to get on y'all.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
We get so many sets in from so many companies. It's hard keeping up with.
Yeah. I'm trying to get every noir movie ever made.
Imprint, the Kino, to Warner Brothers, to like just everybody.
Yeah.
It's just
Indicator's got their noir sets. Imprint's got their noir sets. Yeah, everybody's doing the noir stuff. So, but
plenty of noir to go around. So so that's a 3-film set. The first film that Steven was just talking about just stars Jean Gabin, who was in like The Grand Illusion and films like that. Second film stars Jean Monroe, who was in like The Train and The Bride Wore Black. And then the third film is actually based on a novel by Thomas Narsajak. Probably butchering that name, but he wrote I think he wrote the novels of like Diabolique and Vertigo and Eyes Without a Face. And so that's
my caliber there, man.
It's like you put that on the list. That's like, damn, this has to be relatively interesting to watch. At least the story does. So that set's looking very interesting to us. Next up is 2 Days in the Valley, which is a film from 1996, starring probably a bunch of actors you're well aware of. Terry Hatcher, Charlize Theron, James Spader, Jeff Daniels, Eric Stoltz, Danny Aiello, Keith Carradine's in there, Louise Fletcher, Lawrence Tierney, Michael Jai White for good measure.
Jesus Christ.
Written and directed by John Hertzfeld, who I'm not really aware of, but it's shot by Oliver Wood, who I guess shot The Bourne Ultimatum.
Random.
Very random. Steven, do you remember this movie, or do you know of this movie?
I do not. I'm not aware of this movie. I am aware of Terry Hatcher, though. I had a big crush. I was a big crush on Terry Hatcher watching Adventures of Superman Lois and super crush on her back then. So other than that, I mean, this is a great cast. It looks like based off the cover of the release, it looks like it's a shoot 'em up type movie.
It's a 90. Yeah, I'm sure it's a 90s thriller. It says IMDb's not really giving me much. It just says 48 hours.
Yeah, it was. I watched this when it came out. It was it's a part of that Pulp Fiction wasteland. That came out. However, the main thing, Terry Hatcher, of course, I believe it's the U.S. film debut of Charlize Theron.
Okay.
So that's her, and that's every review I remember reading about this film, and the film is okay. I mean, it's if you like guns and really attractive women, that type of thing, or neo noir.
Talk about the 90s.
There you go. But but anyway, absolutely every review was just raving about her, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's like she's gone on to be, probably one of the best actresses in the past 25 years or so, as far as picking the projects, really.
Yeah.
She's
and stuff like that. So
she's an Academy Award winner. Yeah, we've seen Monster.
Yeah.
I mean, she's obviously still working to this day. We all know. She's one of the most well-known actresses in the world, so this kind of fits kind of right in line with kind of that 90s neo-noir that we've been talking about so much over the last little while, with all these movies kind of coming out. But this is getting a brand new 2022 HD master from a 2K scan from the 35mm interpositive. So it's not the original camera negative, it's the interpositive, but
still good.
To get something from 2022, that's an interesting brand new thing that they're putting in. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, Kino they're releasing everything from every decade now, so not surprising.
Yep,
not surprising at all. But that's it for Kino.
That's it.
Not
That's
much
it.
this week.
Not a lot. As
what?
I know. Usually they got 50 releases between
not
each.
100 titles.
Yeah, no. We usually wait a couple of weeks so they can build up a gigantic slate, I guess. But speaking of gigantic slates, we're moving over to Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome and their partner labels. First of the month now. It's like your rent is due, and Vinegar Syndrome's coming.
No grace period. No grace period.
Yeah. No grace period. And they announced 5 titles directly from them, and then a dozen from the partner labels. So that is a total of 17 titles this time around. Steven, do you want to go through these?
Sure.
Let's start out with the Vinegar Syndrome proper.
Sure, proper.
Real quick.
Yeah, real
wait. Chop.
So we'll start off September releases from Vinegar Syndrome. We're going to start with the 1992 film Mutant Hunt, which great title. I love the cover as well. I got some
the most infamous covers of all time.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So, then also we have a film that is, I believe, an Edgar Allan Poe tale, based on an Edgar Allan Poe tale, and it's called Buried Alive. And then we have a martial arts film starring Don Wilson, which is Red Sun Rising. And then I believe this next title actually just got a release from another company, The Iceman Cometh.
I think it was one of the 88 films.
88 put that out as well.
Yes. Yeah. And then lastly, we have another 4K from them, which is I'm guessing this is going to be a pretty big one. The Amityville Horror is coming in 4K, the original from the 1970s?
Yes, I think it was 1979, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But that stars, didn't Josh Brolin in it?
James Brolin, his father.
I was going to say, Josh Brolin was too young to be in that movie.
No, he might be a kid playing in the yard.
He could be a kid that gets killed or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's old as I am.
Very much.
But that's all the proper stuff from Vinegar Syndrome straight up. So where should we start here?
I think got to start on the top here. I think for the most well-known title is The Amityville Horror. I mean, talk about a movie that has had so many other subsequent films in its horror franchise, and then of course all kind of knockoffs and one-offs and all kinds of things, reboots and whatnot. But this is the original from 1979, based off of the true story. You could still technically visit the Amityville Horror House in Long Island, I believe.
I thought it was knocked down.
I thought they remodeled it a few times from what I've heard. But either way,
should make it Airbnb.
Yeah, really.
Probably. They make everything into an Airbnb these days, right. I guess. But this is directed by Stuart Rosenberg. The reason why I bring up Stuart Rosenberg is because he directed several films that Paul Newman has been in, including Harper and Drowning Pool, and I think a couple of others as well. But he's kind of a workman. He also directed Cool Hand Luke. So he's kind of a bit of a workman director. And yeah, this is a film I think everybody kind of knows, even if you haven't seen it. You know about it.
Funny enough, I haven't seen it.
I actually
it's one of the ones I haven't gotten around to.
Episode.
Yeah. I've seen the Ryan Reynolds remake.
Oh, from 2005.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
The fun of any of these films starring Rod Steiger is to see how unhinged he is in these things. It's like he's a priest in this. So just to see his performance alone is definitely. I say Brolin's performance, and it's Margot Kidder too, is the wife. But just to see him. Steiger is the reason, really. Yeah. And of course, the house. The house is creepy and
the atmosphere.
I
found the atmosphere in this movie to be more frightening than anything else that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely way better. There's definitely way better haunted house movies out there. But that this is of course based on a true story. Yeah. So. Yeah. I was at the perfect age for this to come out. Like I'd be at the grocery store and they would have all those. Well, the book came out first, I think, but they have all the movie novelizations there by the checkout counter, and that book cover had the devil tail coming down from the house, and I hope they have some of the original artwork of the book at least, because it's pretty iconic actually.
Yeah, but movies recent movies like The Conjuring have kind of very much taken from Amityville,
Oh yeah, and of course Shirley Jackson adaptations. I think Haunting and the Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, there's been I
think
so many
better films, but this was scary enough, for a mass audience, and it's a lot of people's childhood. So I think this will be a big hit for them. Sure.
Yeah, I think I mean it's based off. For those of you who don't know, it is based off of the true story. So the whole thing with Amityville, from what I've read, is that. The family that lived in the house before the family we see in this movie, they apparently the father went crazy and kind of murdered his whole family because that place is haunted and kind of, got into his head and whatnot. Sounds familiar because it sounds like The Shining. A lot of people compare the two to one another. And then what happened is the subsequent family that bought the house a year later, weird things started happening while they were there as well. Supernatural things, haunting things. They would hear voices. They would, all this kind of stuff. And then they wrote a book about it. And then the book came out in 1977. And then the book got adapted into this movie. That's kind of the rough, speed version of that history behind it. Some people, some of the stuff may be true. Some of the stuff may not be true. I think there's been all kinds of debates now for decades about what's true and what's not. But it's interesting, Steve, that you did mention The Conjuring, because the opening of The Conjuring 2, they talk about the Amityville,
yeah.
Like the event that I was just talking about with the father getting deranged and murdering his family. Yeah. Coincidentally, I believe the father just passed away in prison last year. And I found that to be fascinating. I didn't know anyone associated with that specific event was still alive, but apparently so.
Crazy.
Well, was. So this movie, yes, of course, it's 1979. It's not going to be like a modern horror, but it is it's good atmosphere in the film. I think everyone kind of remembers The Shining, which came out a year later, a lot more because it is similar. A haunted, horrific house where the patriarch of a family kind of goes slowly insane. Very similar premise. And I was looking to see if maybe Stephen King had gotten inspiration for writing The Shining from Amityville. I'm not quite sure, because I think both The Shining book and the Amityville horror book came out in the same year.
Yeah, I think so, at the same time. Yeah.
So I don't know if one influenced the other or whatever, but I just find those very, very interesting how closely related they are. I think The Shining obviously is a better movie. Kubrick being Kubrick and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is definitely something that I think a lot of people are going to probably scoop up. It is a 4K UHD edition. Should mention that. I don't think this movie has gotten that treatment yet at all. It's gotten many releases over the years on Blu-ray and home video, as well as its sequels.
Yeah, and it's
got a lot of sequels.
Yeah, there's an Amityville set out right now, right? You're selling it in the store.
Yes.
Well, yeah. There's multiple ones, and of course, Vinegar Syndrome had a Amityville set for years. They sell them individually. And I forgot it's a British company put out maybe the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th films.
Yes, they did.
Which is it's basically the same set as Vinegar Syndrome, but it has different special features to it, and it's dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's called.
And at this point, we realized we did some research ourselves the word Amityville has not been trademarked or copyrighted. So like that's why you see. Yeah, that's why you see we have in the wonderful Amityville in space, and then we also have just dropped yesterday DVD only for you. So you guys don't want to mess with this. This DVD is Amityville. Get this, Amityville Karen.
Yeah,
Karen.
I saw that.
So we're ready to we're super excited to watch that.
Go on to like IMDb or go on to Wikipedia and see how many movies have the title Amityville in them. It is like you'll be scrolling for a while. Like it's not only the sequels to in this franchise, if you will, starting with this movie, but there's like just tons of movies that are just riffing, just using that name really to cash in, I guess. But that set you're talking about is called Amityville Collection. It's by Screenbound Pictures in the UK. And it's The Evil Escapes, It's About Time, A New Generation, and Dollhouse. So it's from films from 1989 to 1996.
Yeah. There was that. It's a pretty coveted Vinegar Syndrome box set now.
It looks
with
elaborate.
The hard case. Of those 4 films. But however, Screenbound actually went above and beyond and actually made new special features for this too.
Oh, wow.
So that was, it kudos to them to do that. So
there's many Amityville. There's all and of course there's like there's the remake or reboot that Steven was talking about from 2005. It felt like in the 2000s they were trying to remake like a lot of the old like kind of classic movies, classic horror franchises with like House of Wax, they tried to do that again in the 2000s. Amityville, they tried to do in the 2000s. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they tried to do in the 2000s.
They keep trying to do that one.
They keep trying to do that.
There was a run on true story, based on true story horror movies, redoing a lot of them.
They just tried to revive those old franchises. Even Nightmare on Elm Street, 2009 or 2010, they did that one with
Jackie Earle Haley.
Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy.
These companies got the data. They see the sales of these movies and they know exactly what people want. And they end up making really, really crappy
and
reimaginings of these things.
And ironically, we're here 15 or so years later, and they're still trying to revive those old franchises, old horror franchises. Like they're still trying to get. Like Halloween, they just did it a bit. That's coming to an end, and they're probably gonna maybe do it again in 10 years for all we know. And then they're trying to get Friday the 13th off the ground since 2009. And it's just a work in progress, I guess. But that's Amityville Horror. Steven, did you get to see any of these other films? I know I got to see The Iceman Cometh. I did see Mutant Hunt. I did see Buried Alive as well.
We can talk about Buried Alive real quick. Not good.
Oh no, no, Christ no.
I had a hard time with that one.
Oh yeah, although it does star Donald Pleasance, talk about Halloween, as well as Robert Vaughn.
Yeah, Robert Vaughn.
And John Carradine. This is one of his last films. Who was the father of David Carradine and Keith Carradine. The Carradine, famous
lineage,
Hollywood acting family, and. Yeah, it's from the director and editor of Edge of Sanity.
Oh, yeah,
that's about that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde adaptation.
Yeah. That's Anthony Perkins.
Anthony Perkins with Tony Perkins.
That was a fun movie. I liked it.
That was actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
That a lot.
It might have been his last film. Yes.
Yeah, it was one of Tony Perkins'
sex
last
vampire.
films.
Like he's trying to have sex with everybody.
It's a very sexualized version of that story.
Yeah.
Of the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This, on the other hand, is just not very good.
Yeah, I had a hard time with this one.
So the premise of this film is this woman goes to work at this kind of private parochial school, and turns out a lot of the students are going missing, and she kind of starts to try to figure out why. And Donald Pleasance, I think, is one of the professors, and Robert Vaughn, I think, is like the headmaster of the school. And she's also getting like these visions as well as like hallucinations about bugs and things. A lot of ants, in this movie. There's one shot of just ants in like a toilet, just filling up.
There was a couple of shots that were kind of cool. Like there was one where she opens a door and there's like a brick wall behind the door, and it's like moving, like it's breathing.
it's pulsating like the TV in Videodrome.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a very cool shot.
That was cool, but the story structure and like it just didn't flow well, and there was no build-ups, and it was just all felt like it just blah. It was just like they're throwing stuff against the wall. And
I think it was obviously very loosely based off of an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah.
Very loosely based. But you know what was kind of cool movie is The Iceman Cometh. Imagine a Hong Kong action martial arts movie version of Demolition Man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it's kind of like the Iceman Cometh.
Okay, I got to stop the podcast right now. See you guys.
It came out before Demolition Man, though. So it predates Demolition Man, though, by like years.
Oh, man, I'm super excited now.
It's got that same type of premise. So it starts off in the Ming Dynasty, hundreds of years ago. And there's this guy who is who has to do this job for this emperor where he's trying to catch this criminal, just really terrible, disgusting.
His name's Simon Phoenix?
No,
the name of the villain?
It might as well be. It might as well be. His name is, I think, I forgot. Funk San is his name. Might as well be Simon Phoenix. And but this guy is like a murderer, rapist, just a disgusting human being. And he's got to track him down for the emperor. And they end up having like this big throwdown fight on this mountain or something, and what ends up happening, they end up falling off of this mountain. But there's this device, where they kind of get transported into modern times, but they're also like he's like also frozen in ice. There you go. There's the whole Demolition Man thing where you get somebody from the past into the present or future.
So he gets Avatar
and
Last Airbender.
You can see where I'm going here. He gets thawed out. The other guy also comes back into modern times, and they end up having to kind of continue this battle in modern times. There's Demolition Man right there, and of course there is a woman involved who is portrayed by Maggie Chung. Maggie Chung, once again, one of the most stunning people you ever see on screen, and she's in the film as well. And it's kind of like a funny fish out of water scenario, and then the third act it gets more and more serious as you
Is the three seashells
the guy and the bad guy?
3 seashells?
No 3 seashells.
No
okay. 3 seashells.
Damn it.
But there you go. It's Demolition Man, but a Hong Kong action movie version.
Mark, please tell me more. Tell me more about this.
What else can I say?
Yeah. It's put out by Golden Harvest. I can tell you that.
It is a lot of fun. We were like at this time in our lives in the early 90s, we were just way into Hong Kong films. We were like buying as many books as we can, whatever. And then this was a pretty sought out film that we had to get a bootleg of, and we were not disappointed. It is a great film. What I like about Hong Kong cinema at that time is the fact it's like rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. It's just absolutely just rapid fire, and I love this one a lot. Yeah, this is a great release for them this month. Out of a bunch of great releases from them, they don't deserve to have too many great releases in one month. But
they keep doing it.
I think they
keep doing
it.
So I guess there needs to be a look at features wise, but I'm sure presentation wise, both this and the 88 films are going to both look great.
Probably going to be similar.
Yeah. So basically, because like 88 films is dropping Righting Wrongs in about a month or so. So they're sharing the masters, and I think in the case of Dog Soldiers, it was a combination between Second Sight and Shout Factory. Those are they were exact same special features too.
Okay.
And I think the same thing with the Synapse and Arrow with the Argento titles, but anyway, like I think maybe the special features are a little different between the two. So there's reasons to get both. And if you really like the packaging that Vinegar Syndrome does, in the case of like Righting Wrongs, they actually had an amazing like VHS like action compilation that came out. That's a special feature in the Vinegar Syndrome version of Righting Wrongs, whereas I don't think the 88 Films has that. However, 88 Films kills it with the packaging. They're probably our favorite right now. So like it's just pick your poison.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like you're not going to be disappointed with a transfer of either company because they're sharing them.
Yeah.
It's a co-production deal or co-mastering. I don't know the verbiage there, but like they're working together to get these things remastered and transferred and stuff. So, Vinegar Syndrome's first. I say grab it.
It's just about whichever market's more convenient for you. If
whichever place is more convenient for you. And
of course. It's like 88 Films is being very well known for like really quality packaging, dirt cheap. I mean, this stuff is absolutely, just very, very affordable product. And if you want to wait for them, go for it. But like, it's here now, or it's going to be here at the end of the month.
When it comes to Vinegar Syndrome, when they announce their titles, they'll be they're available to order obviously right away, pre-order. But in terms of OrbitDVD, you guys typically get them 2 weeks or 3 weeks after they're announced. It's very quick to order.
They send them to us. Usually, like I don't know if the stuff's sitting in their warehouse ready to go or whatever, but like they've been super awesome, and they ship them out to the other places too. But like we get them when the customers get them, basically. So we might get them a few days before like once. I don't think it really is a street day for Vinegar Syndrome, right? I mean, like it's really just kind of like the last week of the month is usually when I consider either the third week or the fourth week. We got the partner labels stuff about a week earlier last month. But some months we'll get everything together, so it's like I don't know. It's just sort of loose and goofy for us. But I think you're right. I think by the time a lot of people get their shipments, it's kind of like you talk about, pre-ordering from Diabolic. It's like by the time you get your shipment, we've already had it. We've already sold out of the slip covers.
Yeah. When it comes to, and also we'll bring this up when we just cover the partner labels. Partner label stuff is selling faster now than I think we've ever seen before. At least
you got to jump on that. You have got to jump on the partner labels because if Vinegar Syndrome has it figured out, they got the money to get it figured out. And they're able to put up the numbers to make sure the stuff isn't selling out immediately. The partner labels are selling out lightning fast. And Burby talking, I'm holding back talking about the best release they got for this month, and we all might agree on this, but it's a partner label title. But like that, I think the slipcover version's already sold out or close to it. It's a shame.
Well, I'll definitely, because I'm on their site now, so I'll definitely tell people what things are looking like. But the Iceman Cometh, Stephen, before we move on, I don't want to cut you off.
Well, I was just going to say real quick about I did notice something about limited editions is that they're giving you higher numbers now. They're telling you the full amount. Usually they used to say 1,000, and then you wait for it to come down.
Labels, they are.
But the partner labels, they're showing you the full amount that they have in stock. Like some of them are 2,000, some of them are 1,500, some of them are like. So they're giving you more info.
They've recently redesigned the Vinegar Syndrome website, I think, or tweaked a couple of things here and there. So that they're giving you like exact numbers now. Even if it's over 1,000, they'll tell you there's 1,455 copies left or something like that, whatever the number is. And
it used to be more than 1,000. Nice. They would never tell you more.
Right now, now the Iceman Cometh straight off the bat says there's 5,000 units available, which is on the high end.
Yeah, most of the time the Vinegar Syndrome straight up stuff is like really like 5,000 and more. Like it's
That's a hefty amount to cover. Pre-orders.
Well, I mean, like the only title in the past year for them that sold out immediately was the one they printed the most of. Is the Thriller. The one right behind you.
Sold out quick.
Like everything else, you pretty much have a fair shot of the entire month or even months after the title comes out.
Yeah. But before we move on from Iceman Cometh, like I said, it is a 2-disc set. There are 2 cuts of the movie, actually. There's a 150-minute Hong Kong cut, and there's an alternate 122-minute Mandarin export cut. Thought that was interesting to mention. Also, our friend Scott Saslow did the booklet design for this set as well. I thought that was interesting to mention. He also did work on a couple of other of these releases, too. 2 more that we're going to talk about in the partner label range, but that's a good release from Vinegar Syndrome. So for anyone interested in Mutant Hunt, it's a dystopian.
I'm defending Mutant Hunt.
You do. I didn't mind it. I thought the effects.
The cover. You go in a video store and it was like this mutant with this arm, like with a dude up here, and his arm was like twice the length of his body or something like that. How can you go wrong with that? Well, of course you can go very wrong with that, and you do, but It's I think maybe band produced that, but it's not really it's not a full moon film. I can't remember how they got the rights to this thing because he figured that Full Moon would release this, but like yeah, it's fun. I'm a big sucker for post-apocalyptic things, and it's involving robots and mutants and stuff like that. So I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, it's a.
It is. What is interesting? The movie came out in 1987. I had to mention that. But it takes place in the near future of 1992.
I love that. I love it.
Probably a bit of a Terminator ripoff there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I'd say, but there's a lot of for a movie that's so low budgeted. It's so like, just incredible. The effects when it comes to the gore effects, when it comes to like mutants like melting and stuff, and when it comes to robots like walking around like half put together, it's kind of fascinating for what they're able to pull off with the limited amount of budget and technology that they have. And this was a direct-to-video genre film from the late 1980s, so don't expect too much from it. But the premise of the movie is, if I remember correctly, there's this diabolical doctor who I think captures this other doctor or whatever, and then like his sister's trying to like save him or whatever, and then she ends up like teaming up with like this guy named like Riker or something, who's like this badass dude or whatever, and yeah, Matt Riker, and the two begin a quest to like stop this guy who's building like these evil machines, because the robots are like the robots that have been built are like they're not evil, they're like I guess with the concept of what Cylons were supposed to be, but he's turning them evil to take over the world, and they gotta stop him. That's the premise of the movie, and it's dystopian as all hell. But Steven, what'd you think of Red Sun Rising?
Oh, it's fun, man. I love this era of, like you said earlier, Mark, this era of martial arts films, and Don Wilson's, he's pretty popular in that time period. I saw him first on Walker, Texas Ranger. I remember he was in an episode of that. When I was growing up, and I was like, God, he's kind of cool, but
he was, of course, in New York Ninja.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah,
which is
classic. It's a classic now. I mean, what Vinegar Syndrome did with that, I mean, that's going to become a new classic. But I really had fun with it. It to me, watching it was like the more serious and racist version of Rush Hour. Where you have like these two cops teaming up. One, you have a female and a female cop played by Terry Farrell is her name, and everybody Don Wilson comes into town and he's looking. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a few days. I've had a crazy few days, but his partner gets killed, and he's trying to take down this mysterious guy who's like a hitman of some sorts, and he's played by I'm trying to look for the guy's name here, but I've seen him in other movies.
Michael Ironside?
No, he plays the police chief.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't find him, but
you think about Mako?
No, Mako I think plays the his like Mr. Miyagi. He teaches. He's like teaching.
That's right. Yes. Right.
Yeah, he's teaching Don Wilson this particular move, that like pressure point move. This was a thing you see in a lot of martial arts movies where you hit certain pressure points and it can like take you out. Like it can like stop your movements and make you paralyzed. And it was like and even in some cases you could hit somebody in a particular place, it would like explode their heart. And that happens in the movie a lot. And but they're looking for the killer of his partner, and so he gets teamed up with a female American officer, and there are so many racist scenes of them like making fun of Japanese people, like just how they say things, and like fra rice, like saying like it's so racist, but it's the time, and I'm not defending that, but it is what it is. You have to kind of like...
Oh, yeah, racial stereotyping.
Yeah, you have to kind of...
part of our culture for what, centuries?
Yeah. You have to kind of look at it for what it is, but it is a super entertaining film. Some fun action scenes, and really, even though take the racism out, some good chemistry between the leads. I enjoyed it. So, either one of you see it?
I didn't get to see it.
It's been forever since I've seen it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. We liked it. Anything involving a martial arts artist in the 90s, especially in a cop situation, we were in.
Yeah.
You know? So we were watching all those films. And a lot of it became a blur after a while, you know, just this is one after the other, you know, just
when John Woo's influence started coming to the States, it became even more like excessive.
Yeah. And that's definitely the influence of the Hong Kong cinema too. You know, I think that started permeating around that time, you know, mainly with John Woo, but other you know, Jackie Chan films and stuff like that. So like that, that like
First Strike.
That all started into play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like it was it was a great time for direct-to-video shit, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the direct-to-video market.
If you could get the direct-to-video shit from the 90s to be the streaming of today, you would be golden. But they try to chuck out way too much.
Ironically, maybe not so much, but a lot of it's kind of that market's kind of transformed into the streaming market while just creating cheaper content for people to consume. That concept is still alive and well. It's just kind of moved to the streaming. Now, of course, streaming
is a film too crappy to put in the theaters? We'll sell it to Netflix.
Yeah, something like that. But even I would even say they've expanded past that because they're putting in a lot of money into some of the straight to streaming stuff. Probably too much money, and they're maybe regretting it. Netflix paying $200 million for like a action movie starring The Rock. Maybe a bit too much. I don't know, But moving on to things with a little more smaller budget.
It's for another podcast, I think.
Moving on to the partner label area, we got a dozen titles. Steven, do you want to continue going?
Sure, I'll run them down here.
Okay,
so starting with the partner label Culture Shock releasing, we have Devil Rider. Then moving on to Dark Star Pictures, we have Fair Game. Then from label Canny, we have Viva Erotica. Then from Fun City Editions, we have Married to the Mob. And then from Decalogue, we have KFC. Anybody a fan of the chicken at KFC?
Kentucky Fried.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was in Kentucky. I passed through Kentucky once, and I saw KFC close down, and I was like, what the hell happened here? Makes no sense.
I know you failed.
Yeah. Made no sense.
How do you not be able to sell chicken in Kentucky?
Yeah.
What a shame.
But
moving on.
From TerraVision, we have Blood, Guts, and Sunshine. Then from Factory 25, we have Ape. ETR Media, we have Dead Guy, Killing Music. Sorry, let me say it. So it's Dead Guy, Killing Music.
Killing Music.
Then from Canadian International Pictures, we have Nobody Waved Goodbye. Then from Saturn's Core Audio and Video, we have 16 Tongues. From Altered Innocence, we have Saturday Night at the Baths. And then lastly, we have from AGFA, we have Fuck the Devil plus Fuck the Devil 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, so... Mark, we'll let you start here. Tell us the one you're excited about here.
Well, the one that we all, the entire Vinegar Syndrome community should be excited about is Married to the Mob.
Yes,
it's an amazing film. It's Jonathan Demme. The cast is incredible. Lots of cameos, lots of great character actors, and it's just a masterful film. It's a comedy, and it was, I think, pretty popular in the video rental world out there. I think Pfeiffer by that point had made a name for herself, especially with Catwoman and whatnot. But like, it's I'm very excited that this is coming out. I mean, I really am. And like, this apparently is the one everybody's gravitated to. I think the limited edition is sold out or close to it.
It's still got about 875 left in stock.
We're
good.
That one probably will sell out by the end of the weekend, I think.
Probably.
This is going to sell quick.
Yeah.
That's the big one. I'm friends with both TerraVision and Culture Shock, and both these titles they've released look interesting. The TerraVision is just a documentary on the Florida horror scene about why it was so fervent and it's obvious now, Florida man, I guess, but like it's like why was it such a hotbed for just interesting films? And then I was funny. I was bantering back with Culture Shock before they announced these, and he hinted at me what the genre was, horror western. I'm like going, yes, you're putting out Grimm's Fairy Tales, and he's like, no. So, I mean, this was a fun film. I remember watching the film that they put out too. It's good. Pretty much any horror western, I'm in. I'm definitely love those. Both those genres are near and dear to my heart. So I'll watch any horror western out there. And everything else, really haven't heard too much about. But very excited to see what happens. I do know, like as far as our customer base goes, like Factory 25, we like them a lot. And then the Canadian one, which I forgot the name of their.
Nobody Wave Goodbye.
Yeah, or just the company.
Canadian International Pictures.
Yeah. Like their films have been surprisingly and thankfully very surprisingly well received. Because I think it's just a lot of independent cinema that just never made it across to here, or maybe hit a couple of art house theaters back in the 70s or 80s or whatever, and disappeared. So they're doing. This is really why we were doing what we're doing, is preservation. You know, it's like these are films that have been forgotten about, and they just need to be rediscovered. And I think a lot of people, especially at that partner label, they're discovering a wealth of amazing films coming out. So. Yeah, I'm excited. This month, I think, could be the strongest month they ever put out. I think, honestly.
Every single month when it comes to these partner labels is surprising. Surprising in the sense that you get such a wide range of films, because all these partner labels are kind of, they dabble a little bit into maybe some cross-genre stuff, but a lot of these are not so much. You get very diverse stuff. Fun City Editions right now is putting out some of the best stuff you can get in the kind of boutique label market. And Married to the Mob is probably one of their more well-known titles that they put out so far. Probably their most well-known, I would say.
Yeah,
it's a Jonathan Demme film. It's starring actors who we've many of us know, who Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Modine, Dean Stockwell, and the cover art for it looks incredible. Just incredible work. Once again, I want to shout out our friend Scott Zaslow, who did the booklet and layout design for this release as well. He's been on our podcast twice already, and so this is nice to see his hands in this. But yeah, it's just nice to see more Jonathan Demme stuff. Yet again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, of like trying to see somebody's work before the work they became known for. Jonathan Demme, of course, would go on to direct Silence of the Lambs not too soon after this film, if memory serves.
A year later, I think, or 2 years later. Yeah,
and they couldn't be more different films.
Yeah,
they could not be more different. 1991, I believe, Silence of the Lambs came out.
I believe, yeah. But like, Demme, I don't think really had a style. It's like, what is this? But like. He just picked great projects, like the film before Married to the Mob, I think, was Something Wild. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah,
absolutely amazing movie. He really hit his stride. I think, and he of course started with Corman and whatnot. I think he did Cage Heat. He might have done Cage Heat, but like, he just went on. He did the film about what's his name? Anyway, like starting in the early '80s, he was just. He did Stop Making Sense. He did, he was just hitting all the right notes and just making epic film after epic film. And, he wasn't like a Kubrick or somebody like that where like, so, okay, this is definitely his type of movie, but like, he was just jumping around, as far as genres and stuff like that. And they're all brilliant. I think
he did a lot of
the run from like, is it Melvin and Me? I'm thinking about the one, Sarah Steenburgen and Jason Robards.
Is it?
Yeah, but the starting in the early '80s, he just absolutely was just killing it, and every film after each other was just better and better and better, culminating, I think, in Silence of the Lambs. I think, of course, that is this one of the best horror films of all time. But we're super stoked about this one. We actually, I think, quintupled our usual.
Oh, gee.
Bigger syndrome order.
There's going to be plenty to order.
The slipcovers going away, I guess. But like, this is an easy film that the staff, the entire staff can absolutely, tell someone, it's like, you take this home, you're not going to be disappointed in this film at all. basically. So.
Yeah, he did a lot of documentary work specifically about Bruce Springsteen. A lot of Bruce Springsteen documentaries here. Of course, he did his follow-up film to Silence of the Lambs was Philadelphia. Wow, just diverse, very diverse director. He did the Manchurian Candidate remake in 2004, starring Denzel Washington and Liev Schreiber, I believe. A good film, underrated. I think still needs a Blu-ray release. Maybe, I'm not sure. He did Rachel Getting Married with Anne Hathaway, another really good film. Sadly, of course, he passed away in 2017. But yeah, just a great director with a great filmography. And Married to the Mob he had an ability to take, this idea of the mob movie and make it lighter and fun and breezy, but also have like mob type of things in it. Like there's like people getting murdered and stuff like that, but there's also there's also like a romantic comedy.
It's definitely a violent movie. It wasn't. They weren't sugarcoating anything. But yeah, it did kind of humanize them a little bit, I guess. It's like as far as like the characters go.
Yeah, because even like previous to this, when you're thinking mob or gangster films, they're very, very serious. You're thinking Godfather Part 1 and 2. You're thinking Scarface. Even like Once Upon a Time in America, the Sergio Leone film. It's just like it's very serious, organized crime movies. And this one, not so much. It's a little lighter, but still very, very good.
I think a movie like this probably influenced doing Analyze This and That. Very much that same kind of realm.
The Harold Ramis films?
Yeah.
This is getting a 2K restoration from the 35mm interpositive. We're getting a new interview with Matthew Modine on here, which is really interesting. I know he's very active on social media these days, so he's not quiet about anything. But yeah, it's
things.
But yeah, that's probably the highlight of these releases. But there are some other good releases in here. Just from my perspective, Steven, I don't know how many you were able to delve into.
I did watch Nobody Waved Goodbye.
So did I. Oh, another good film, like hidden gem from Canadian International Pictures. This movie is very similar to like a Rebel Without a Cause or something like that, where you've got this, movie came out in 1964. It's kind of commenting on the youth of the time, but also it also kind of a cautionary tale.
Yeah, I was going to say it almost
it's less rebellious and more of a cautionary tale.
It almost has an after school specialness to it.
That's why I meant cautionary.
Yeah. And then it just the kid. If there's I wouldn't say it's a negative, but if there was one thing about it is the kid's so upfront about his problems and he always vocalizes his issues with like society and things and having to do things that it's almost annoying. He's almost annoying.
Yeah, he's like Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah.
Except he's not narrating in his head. He's saying it out loud.
He's like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, but grown up, like 18 years old. Like just saying everything that comes to his mind, and he just won't shut up.
Very naive.
Yeah.
But I guess that's playing into the character. So for those of you who don't know the premise of this movie, this young, I would say teenage character, I think he's towards the end of his high school career, curriculum, whatever. He's just not He's not getting along with his parents. He doesn't want to listen to them anymore. He kind of just wants to do his own thing, and he decides to like leave home and start out on his own. So he goes out, tries to get a job, tries to find a place to live, and it turns out it's a lot harder than you think when you're a teenager with relatively no working skills whatsoever.
And he also didn't finish high school. He didn't finish high school, so he did.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, is that he thinks he's ready. He thinks he's ready for the world when he's not really ready for the world. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's kind of a multi-generational thing. Teenagers have huge egos. I think we all did when we were teenagers, for the most part, where we think we're smarter than we were.
I started working when I was 15, so
but in some cases, some people aren't. You know what I mean? Like, I think our generation, started working teenage.
No, not our gen. I think some of us had good parents and they taught working values, but a lot of this generation and even into ours don't know anything about work.
And it shows in this movie how like when you don't
Mark,
have
go ahead, Mark.
skills,
say something, Mark.
Yeah, Mark's from a different generation. Get at it.
I have two. I have a millennial and Gen Z chemists.
No, I'm not. You're good. You're one of the good parents. You're one of the good parents.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Okay. Well, they might beg to differ, but yeah.
But what I'm saying is there is a lot of, and I see it all the time, just kids that don't know anything about work ethic and like.
Well, that's always happened though. It's like it's nothing new.
I guess not. It just seems
it's the fact that like we blame them looking at their phones. It's like for us it was video games.
Sure.
Before that it was cars and cruising and drag races, and before that it was whatever.
I don't know what to blame because it's like I had that stuff, but then I did go to work though, and I did work, and I feel like I did a good job. I could still I could do both. Yeah. I could have fun, but
it's not.
Well, I can tell you that a lot of teen jobs are gone. Like they just don't exist. It's like you can't leave school at 3 and go work somewhere till 6 anymore. It's just not.
Oh yeah.
It's just, that used to be available, but it's not anymore. So it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the
opportunities are gone.
Yeah, there's the whole cultural. Ironically, though, is that a lot of the adults are working those jobs that teenagers used to work.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem right now.
And unfortunately, they have no other opportunities to find work elsewhere, and so therefore, there's a traffic jam in terms of where people can work. And like that's the best they can do because that's all that's either available, that's all their skill set is, or that's just enough to get them by, and they can't afford to look for something someplace else. So it's a whole big cultural kind of issue. But what this movie is kind of saying is that, and what I find more interesting about it is like kind of you were saying, Mark, is that it is generational. There's always, something, that is preventing, maybe people from recognizing that about work ethic and about things like that, and also recognizing that they're not ready to take on the adult world yet, even though they think they are. That's a whole thing, I think, too. People tend to grow up way too fast these days and don't tend to enjoy their childhood or teenage years or adolescence as much as they probably should. I find that to be a thing as well. And this movie's kind of commenting on that. And lo and behold, the kid in the movie does get in a lot of trouble due to his own shortcomings. But it's a really good film, Steven.
I did. Yeah,
it seems oddly placed in 1963. It's like it's pre, like counterculture, and then sort of post. You mentioned like Rebel Without a Cause or whatever. So yeah, sort of placed in that weird. It's a weird time period for this film, but
it's
almost
like an anti-Rebel Without a Cause, if I had to even think about it, because the Rebel Without a Cause was kind of so like countercultural. Well, this is like, stay within the culture, I guess. Like, maybe the culture is better. I don't know. But it's also it's Canada versus.
I was gonna say, we don't really know what was going on over there.
Here there was like cultural revolution and all this kind of stuff going on and anti-war stuff. It may have been a lot different there. I don't know. I wasn't there. But yeah, Nobody Waved Goodbye. Another one. This is selling out fast. There's about 600 copies or 566 copies left. These Canadian International Pictures, they only make about 1,000 of these, so that's why they sell out so fast. So if you want the slipcover one, get it while you can. Get it, either pre-order it, or I'm pretty sure OrbitDVD will be getting some of these as well.
Yeah, we're gonna slips of everything.
Yeah. So, Steven, did you get to watch any of these other ones?
No, nothing else on this list I got a chance to watch.
Okay.
I have seen one. Altered Innocence, Saturday Night at the Bass is a seminal gay film from the 70s. So it was definitely one that pushed a narrative and it was considered a very trend-setting film at the time, and it's definitely worth once again worth preserving and worth seeing. So yeah, it's once again it's been probably 30 years since I've seen it, but it's good. It's a really good film as well. So
that's one I definitely wanted to check out. But the other two that I got to check out were Fair Game put out by Darkstar, and I got to see Ape put out by Factory 25, which is actually now currently, as of this recording, streaming on the Criterion Channel streaming service. So people want to check
that's the wrong Ape. I was thinking about the 1970s. It was a Korean or Chinese.
Yes, this is this is the movie from 2012.
Yeah. Oh.
A little off. But Ape is a 2012, 2013 indie film. And it centers around this character, Trevor Newendike, who is a struggling stand-up comedian. And he starts dabbling into pyromania a little bit to kind of deal with these mental things that are going on. He's just kind of down and out, bad luck. He's not a very good stand-up comic. He kind of sucks. His jokes aren't funny, and he's not getting paid much, and he owes money for rent and things like that. And he can't do anything right, just bad luck. So he's going through this existential crisis and trying to break out of it, and he's just struggling. And he just kind of gets very introspective. It's a very fascinating movie. Not a long movie, runs about 86 minutes. But I thought it was very, very good. A lot of great music used in it because he's constantly walking around wearing headphones and listening to music. So he's very much inside of his own head. And the actor who plays this character is Joshua Burge, who I thought was very, very good in the movie. It has that very 2012 indie movie feel to it. I dug it a lot. It does have really cool artwork here, which is just like a giant ape, and this ape is kind of like this metaphor in the movie that you'll see very often throughout. There's just someone in this ape costume that he'll be in the background, or he'll be following this guy around, and it's kind of a metaphor working into the movie. I really dug it. So if people have Criterion Channel, check it out. And then I did see Fair Game early this morning. I was watching this about 5 a.m. So that's what you got to do.
Which is Andrew's 8 p.m.
Hours. Yeah, which is my living hours. So I was watching. This is kind of, I don't know if this is considered Ozploitation, but it felt like an Ozploitation movie.
Yeah, that one is. Because it's American actress, I believe, is
Cassandra
the lead.
Delaney. Yes.
Yeah. So it's American actress,
but it's set in Australia.
She's in the Outback. Yeah. So I think they were just trying that cross pollination, just to try to get movie tickets, I guess, sold. But Fair Game is interesting for sure. I can't say it's not my favorite Ozploitation, not by a long mile, but
and it seems I don't know what the era of Ozploitation is. I know this came out in 1986, and I feel like I don't know. When I think Ozploitation, I think late 70s, early 80s. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm just thinking of Mad Max all the time. That could be it. That's probably the reason.
Just follow the trail of George Miller in your
yeah, and then you'll get there eventually. Speaking of which, his newest film just came out, and no one is talking about it because they did no promotion for it whatsoever. And I think it was like an MGM, Amazon team up film or something. I don't know. Steven, it's was it 3,000 Years of Longing?
Yeah, it's the one that's got Tilda Swinton in it, and
Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton.
Idris Elba, yeah. The theory is there might be some Saudi Arabian money in there because that apparently that's their culture. It's basically that film, yeah. So there might be some major backing behind this movie, and they were just able to pull in a great cast and a great director. And I don't know if Miller wrote it and directed it, or he was told to go this direction, or he's just directing the thing.
Either way, no one's really talking about it. No one's really seeing it. And I know right now he's also filming the Mad Max Fury Road prequel film, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Furiosa. I know he's doing that right now with Anya Taylor-Joy. So obviously his slate is full. But that's not really connected to this movie at all. But this movie takes place in the Australian outback. This woman is running this wildlife sanctuary, and there are these three hunters, these guys who are just basically harassing and abusing the heck out of her for a good portion of this movie, really just to be assholes. There's really no reason why they couldn't be hunting animals on any other part of Australia. Australia is a large continent.
Plenty of things that can kill them out there. Yeah,
but they're like, you know what? Let's harass this woman on her property and on her land, and start poaching some of these animals. And then they start really harassing and getting after her until she has to get to the point where she's got to take revenge on them. and that's the third act, and that's the movie. This is I did get to watch this on YouTube of all places, so I found it there. Came out, like I said, 1986, runs about 86 minutes long, and that's fair game.
And also
the cover of this and the artwork is a lot cooler than the actual movie. I'll give it that.
Yeah, and this has been out before. I think we have Umbrella. Umbrella put this
sounds
out?
right.
I can't remember.
Well, then it probably is exploitation then.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Well, also in the features, it looks
like
it
is exploitation.
Yeah, it looks like the director Mario Adracino.
Okay.
It's got some short films from them here. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short films from that director are in the special features. Yeah. So
one of them is Under Pressure.
Under Pressure.
I know. It came out in 1986, right around. I don't even know when the song came out, but I just feel like
it's not connected.
They're close together.
It's not connected. But all right. Anything else we want to add before we wrap up?
I can say that Fuck the Devil is apparently a German version of Evil Dead.
Ooh.
That's what I've heard. Some person said it was a German knockoff version of Evil Dead, but that is what it is. I heard the Dead Guy Killing Music documentary is very good. I did get to watch Devil Rider.
Oh, okay.
Mark brought it up earlier. Once again, I think this was a YouTube special, or maybe not. But yeah, put out by Culture Shock, Devil Rider. So it is a horror western, like Mark said. But basically, there's this guy who is, I think he's the devil incarnate, and he's just kind of camping out on his land. And anyone who comes to his land, he murders.
Cool.
A bunch of people catch him back in I think 100 years ago in the Wild Western times, and then they catch him. They try to hang him, but you can't kill him because he's the devil. So
exactly.
Flash forward to 100 years in the future, and some people, of course, are trespassing on his land once again. And he's got to get them. And so it's all about these people trying to survive on this dude ranch of all places. And they're trying to turn this dude ranch into a resort. And of course, when it comes to slasher films, you can't go on these people's land. You just can't
go on the devil's land. I mean,
you can't go on their land. It's kind of like with
They always should offer them a deal. It's like hey, let's make this a resort. You can take the soul of every 100th visitor or something like that, My guess is they probably go for it. The devil would.
Yeah, I mean, like the deal that they made in what's the Cabin in the Woods? With the government.
There you
made
go,
the deal with the gods to sacrifice a group of kids.
The old gods.
Yeah.
Make a crossroads deal.
Yeah.
Devil at the crossroads or whatever that thing is, and there you go. But no, they decide to try to fight him and stuff, and of course that doesn't go particularly well. This is the only movie I believe this director, Vic Alexander, ever directed. And I'm pretty sure this was a direct-to-video release from 1991, yes. So that I did get to see Devil Rider.
All right, well.
Cool artwork.
Well,
I dig it.
That's cool. Well, let's ride the hell out of here.
Nice transition.
Yeah, sure. Mark, as always, it's a pleasure. Of course, everybody, if you don't hear it at the beginning of this episode, go to OrbitDVD and buy your Blu-rays, as I say. And of course, watch out in the next couple weeks. We will have a new exclusive coupon from Chasing Labels that's going to be used on the OrbitDVD site, 15% off. So yeah, please do that. And Mark, anything else you want to add?
No problem. Yeah, always a pleasure, guys. Hey, we're an hour shorter than last time. This is great.
I knew we would get it under. Yeah, I knew we would do it.
Kind of rambled.
Yeah,
I'm
surprised. I'm surprised after we.
Thank you for Kino for only releasing 3 films.
You're welcome. It's all about the slate this week. Yeah. But Mark, thank you as always. Andrew, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as our YouTube channel, Chasing Labels.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can also find me at the other Chasing Labels pages, whether it be our Instagram or our Twitter, or me on Letterboxd at Chasing Labels. You can find the audio for the podcast at Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and other places. Thanks again for listening, and hey,
You guys aren't TikToking yet?
Oh hell no! I ain't got time for that.
What?
I ain't got time.
Oh, you guys would be perfect for TikTok.
We probably would not be.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what we would with TikTok. I guess just like
we barely use our YouTube channel right now.
My two chemist kids told me I have to be on TikTok, so I'm trying to figure the damn thing out.
Well, hey.
If you get on there,
let us know. We'll advertise it. But
once I crack that code, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Nice. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep on watching the movies.
I know I will.
I'll keep selling them.
Good. I'll keep buying them from you.
I'll watch a few.
I'll keep buying them from you.